What does DC stand for? Chances are you've seen these two letters attached to any number of things comics. Cities, electrical terms, and maybe even a courtroom drama or two. But what's the real meaning behind those initials? And why do they pop up in such different places? Let's unravel the story of DC. First and foremost, for most people, DC immediately brings to mind the capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. But what's the D.C. actually mean? The answer is District of Columbia. When the city was founded in 1790, the federal government needed a neutral territory to serve as its seat, distinct from the existing states. The idea was to avoid giving too much power or influence to any one state. So Congress created a brand new federal district on land donated by Maryland and Virginia and named it in honor of Christopher Columbus's Columbia. Add in the fact that it's laid out as a district rather than a state, and you get District of Columbia. So every time you see an address in Washington, D.C., that extra set of letters is a reminder of the city's special status. Not a city in a state, but a district belonging to the entire nation. But D.C. isn't just about politics and geography. You might also recognize DC from the world of superheroes. DC Comics is famous for legendary characters like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. But originally, DC wasn't just catchy branding, it actually stands for Detective Comics, the title of one of their earliest, most successful publications. The company, founded in the 1930s, was first called National Allied Publications. But when Detective Comics hit newsstands and became a sensation introducing Batman, in the process, the publisher started branding itself more and more with those initials. Eventually, DC just stuck. And today, the publisher is officially DC Comics, which, interestingly enough, literally means Detective Comics comics. Of course, there's another world where DC is much more about science than superheroes. Electricity. We'll often hear about DC versus AC, especially if you've ever fiddled with batteries, power adapters, or perhaps even arguments over Tesla and Edison. In this case, DC stands for direct current. That describes the one-way flow of electric charge, unlike alternating current. Or AC, where the flow of electricity reverses direction periodically. All your batteries provide DC electricity, while the outlets in your home provide AC power. The story of DC versus AC currents dates back to the late 1800s. When Thomas Edison promoted direct current as the safest way to deliver electricity, only for Nikola Tesla's alternating current to ultimately win out for powering cities, thanks to its ability to travel over greater distances. Still, DC remains essential for anything that runs off batteries. From flashlights to those smartphones and laptops you're probably using right now. Beyond comics, cities, and electrical engineering, DC can also mean several other things depending on the context. In legal shorthand, DC can refer to the district court, especially in legal documents and court case names. In sports, DC sometimes stands for defensive coordinator, a key coaching position in American football. Sometimes you LLC the abbreviation in educational credentials. DC can mean Doctor of Chiropractic, a professional degree for chiropractors. So many different DCs. How do you know which one someone is talking about? Thankfully, context is usually your guide. Mention DC in the same breath as politics, monuments, or cherry blossoms, and people will assume you mean the District of Columbia. If you're at a comic book store talking about superhero movies, DC is definitely going to mean Detective Comics. Ask an engineer about their power supply, and you're firmly in the world of direct current. Interestingly enough, that two-letter combination has also found its way into pop culture shorthand. Sometimes people use DC in online chats to mean don't care, offering a digital age meaning that's a world away from our previous examples. And in the corporate world, a DC might be a distribution center, an essential hub in modern logistics. So, what does DC stand for? As it turns out, almost anything if the context is right. It can be a city that's not quite a city, a comic publisher that's twice named, a form of electricity, and a host of other things. The next time you see those two letters, you'll know there's a story behind them, a story that changes every time you